clinic. I'm a reenactor. And that means I try to bring the past to life. And for 36 years in the classroom, that's what I did. Wearing garb that wasn't even from this century, or maybe even the previous century, sometimes not even the previous millennia. And I would try to breathe life into the subject. Well, that's 36 years. That's a pretty strong habit I've developed. And I now have time on my hands, an entire room at the house devoted to just garb, and also artifacts, realia, manipulatives, stuff that kids could touch and handle to make history seem more real. And I have a passion for bringing the past to life. That's still there. I also have a desire to preserve landmarks. So what I'm doing right now is I'm on a very pretentious sounding mission Odyssey. I intend to visit each of the missions in Alta California, plus the Asistencias. Those are the spin-off missions, plus the estancias, as many as I could find. And those are ranches that basically were around to raise food for the missions. And each presidio. And those were the fortifications that were built to protect groups of missions. And currently, I am headed towards, my brain says Mission Santa Inés, but everybody else is going to say Solvang. So I intend to go visit that mission and document what's there, and I hope you'll stick with me. So my mission Odyssey has brought me to Mission Santa Inés, the 19th of the traditional 21 missions founded. It was founded in 1804, and it was basically put into use to relieve overcrowding at Mission La Purísima and Mission Santa Barbara. The Portola Expedition, while they were exploring an inland route to Monterey Bay, which they never found the mouth of the Santa Ynez River and followed it up and arrived here August 31st of 1769, and they were finding it was really remarkable how fertile the soil was and how they had adequate water. This is still Chumash territory, and the Chumash were spread between Malibu in the south and San Luis Obispo in the north. And they went from the Channel Islands and they extended inland. And I believe the neighboring tribe to the east, the neighboring native Californians, were the Tulares, who were not really happy with the Spanish showing up. And the Chumash were matrilineal. Okay, so that's how they're reckoning their descent. They were also hunters and gatherers, and during the winter what they would do is they would basically get what they could that was fresh and relied on stored food to carry them through the winter. And initially they were friendly with the Spanish coming in. The Chumash spoke approximately 6 closely related Chumasha languages or dialects, and the one spoken in the Santa Ynez Valley was dubbed by the Spanish Ineseño, and it was very similar to the more coastal Barbareño. The various Chumash groups had trade relationships with other tribes, both on the coast and far inland. They brought many items from the sea, such as abalone, clams, and shell beads to the Yokuts of the Central Valley. In exchange, they received things such as obsidian, salt, black pigment, and antelope skins. They supplied the Salinans in the north with wooden boats, tomos, and with beads. They even traded with the Mojave, who lived over 400 miles away. Members of the Ynez Expedition of 1776 were also very impressed with the Chumash, and one of the members wrote in his diary that he considered the Chumash to be so industrious and ingenious that all they really needed was someone to teach them, because they were able to, with the use of flint tools and a lot of patience, create all kinds of artifacts. The founding of a mission between La Purísima and Santa Barbara had been on the minds of the missionary fathers for a number of years. An inland mission north of Santa Barbara would solidify their work in the area. They'd be able to take advantage of the Chumash's already favorable disposition to Christianity, and they would also serve as a buffer to the Tulares that lay to the northeast. There was a debate as to where to build the new mission, and this was proposed in 1798. And there were various sites that were under consideration, and two of the sites were Calahuasa, which was a Chumash rancheria. The Spanish called the villages rancherias, and that's basically now where the Santa Ynez Reservation is located today. And Alahuapu, which was pretty much over by Solvang. And it was decided to go with the second site to build the mission. After determining that 6 soldados de cuerda would be enough to protect the mission, the last of the southern missions and the third to honor a sainted woman, Saint Agnes, a 13-year-old martyr, completed the chain between San Francisco and San Diego. Dedicated September 17, 1804, by the Father President Esteban Tapis, the mission's future seemed assured. The 18 established missions were at the height of their prosperity, ready to lend aid if necessary. In fact, a large number of trained neophytes from other missions helped found this one in the Santa Ynez Valley. The Spanish built 5 Catholic missions among the Chumash people. Each mission was granted about 7 square leagues of land surrounding it for the use and support of the local Indian communities. That would have given Mission Santa Inés more than 441 square miles of land. Dedicated in September, the initial construction began in March of 1804. A single row of buildings, 232 feet long by 19 feet wide by 19 feet high, were built to house the first church, the Padres' quarters, and the granary. The whole building was of adobe. On the day the mission was dedicated to St. Agnes by Padre Tapis, a mass was attended by 200 Chumash. On the initial day, 27 children were baptized and 15 men came forward for instruction. The first resident priests were Padres Jose Romaldo Gutierrez and Jose Antonio Calzada. By the end of the year, there were 112 Chumash converts. Construction continued uninterrupted for the next 8 years. In 1805, a second row of buildings was added that was 145 feet long. In the next year, a third building, 368 feet long, was added, and this helped to set up the typical quadrangle shape. Tiles and a walkway were added along 75 feet of the front to protect the walls from rain. New Padre quarters were built. 5 double homes for soldiers and families, along with a storehouse and a guardhouse, were added. Construction was interrupted by Mother Nature in December of 1812. Two massive earthquakes struck the area. Actually, they caused damage at almost all of the missions. For safety, a temporary church was erected outside the quadrangle area. Reconstruction from the earthquake damage took place over 4 years under the direction of Padres Uria and Tapis, and a new, larger church, the design credited to Padre Uria, was built of adobe and brick and faced east. It measured 140 feet long, 25 feet wide, 30 feet high, and, typical of the structures of the day, had heavily buttressed walls 5 feet thick. Heavy pine timbers were brought from the San Rafael Mountains to support the ceiling and retiled roof. The ceiling height was lowered on the residence of the Padres. The flat roof was replaced with a gabled roof covered with tiles. A campanario housing 3 bells was erected beside the church. Behind it, the sacristy and storage rooms. These buildings were dedicated on July 4th, 1817, and they are what remain of the mission from that era. Padre Uria next directed a 2-year period between 1818 and 1820 where the interior of the church was decorated with murals. Well, seems that yet again I got wordy, and yet again I'm not done. So I'm going to be coming back to Mission Santa Inés. I hope you'll stick with me.